Hey everybody, welcome to Breakfast All Day. Alonso here with Matt and Christy remotely in our remote locations. And we've all had a chance to check out one of the new streaming titles this week, which is Military Wives.
Yeah, Military Wives is based on the true story, or inspired at least by a true story, of the wives of soldiers who live on a camp in England, and their spouses go off to Afghanistan. And in order to keep busy, among other things, they end up forming a singing club, although Kristin Scott Thomas's character, who is the wife of the colonel, wants it to be a proper choir. And Sharon Horgan, who's kind of new to a leadership role within the hierarchy of wives because her husband has been recently promoted to sergeant.
Master Sergeant.
Thinks it should be more of a fun singing group. And so tension and singing ensues. But I thought this was cute.
It is aggressively cute.
It's I think this is the type of movie that fits the way, Christy, you described Lovebirds. Like, it's on. Sure. Okay.
It's nice. It's nice people doing nice things.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a very specific subgenre of British cute, right? And so it's from the director.
When you say nice like that, it makes me think of the line that Dom DeLuise has in History of the World, right? Nice. Mm-hmm. Nice. Not thrilling. Nice.
It is that exactly. It's from Peter, I want to say Cattaneo. He's also the director of The Full Monty, which I think is sort of like the prototype for this kind of really cute movie about a ragtag group of British
adorable
people,
Brits,
probably in a small town, who come together for a goal of, like, maybe they're going to do a big performance of some sort of
a naughty calendar, perhaps.
Right. So this is like Calendar Girls, right? And this is a lot like it's very similar, and maybe that is part of the point, is the familiarity of the structure, is that there, and the supporting characters, you can describe who they are in a couple of words. Like, there's the shy Welsh girl with the angelic voice, and there's the lesbian
who can't sing.
Lesbian who can't sing. There's the football fan who is kind of awkward and aggressive, and
the kinky one.
There's the new young wife who just recently got married, and she married her childhood sweetheart, and they're there for the first time. And this is in the early aughts when they are all heading off to Afghanistan, and so that plays in terms of the kinds of music that they're listening to, and the technology, and the importance of, like, what happens when comms are down and how they can't get a hold of their husbands when that is indeed the case. And for a movie that is almost 2 hours long, it sort of skims across the surface of all of these developments, because, like, they form this group. They're terrible, which is supposed to be hilarious. And then in no time, they've been asked to sing at the Royal Albert Hall, right? For this big, prestigious Remembrance Day performance. And as consistently great as Kristin Scott Thomas and Sharon Horgan are, and how enjoyable their prickly chemistry can be with each other, neither of them really deviates that greatly from who they are at the very beginning. Like, supposedly this is a big journey of evolution for them all as women and as a group, and it's a testament to the bonds of friendship and ambition and trying to achieve something scary. But the two of them are pretty much at the end who they were at the beginning. Having said that, I enjoyed watching them together, and Kristin Scott Thomas is trying to elevate this material beyond the simplicity of what it is, and she's doing this like barely contained simmering anxiety beneath her proper decorum on her exterior. And Sharon Horgan is just a badass at all times. And, if you ever watch Catastrophe, she's got a similar kind of, like, really appealing earthy groundedness about her, like an intelligence and a way with a one-liner. And she's just really enjoyable to watch, and they have very different kinds of screen presence. So watching the two of them was fun, but the whole thing as a whole is like, Okay, we know where this is going.
You know exactly what you're getting from the jump. Like you know that like Kristen Scott Thomas's like posh, snooty facade is going to crack at some point. You know that while she and Sharon Horgan at first are completely at odds, they're eventually going to embrace and understand where each other is coming from. You know that these women who can't sing are suddenly going to sound great. Like all this stuff happens, and yet it works anyway. Like I described this as being stepmommed. Dave and I went to see Stepmom, the press screening, and it was like the whole movie was so manipulative and so working your feelings, and it was obvious what they were doing. You knew where it was going to go, where all the characters were going to go, and then damn it, you get to that last 10 minutes and Susan Sarandon's dying of cancer and she gives her kids quilts and you cry.
Spoiler alert.
That movie's ancient. I can talk.
Too soon, Alonso.
So same thing with this one. The whole movie I'm going like, okay, now that, yeah, I know that's going to happen. And damn it, I cried. This movie just, there is a joy in movies, I think, sometimes when you are being manipulated well, that you can see exactly what they're doing and still not feel like, cheated at the end of it. I mean, Stepmom, I was cheated. I was angry at myself for falling for it. This one, I was like, all right, well done, Peter Cattaneo. You this is your Stradivarius and you know how to play it.
Yeah, I don't know that this would work without Kristen Scott Thomas. I think she really brings so much to this role, and she starts off, and her arc I think is a little bit better, and probably partly just her acting is she starts off, she's really just uptight, right? And she gives you these little pieces as to why, and good on the script for not completely showing that right off the bat. So by the time you end up, in the son's car with her husband, like that scene's terrific. That's such a good scene.
But then you've also got Sharon Horgan's teenage daughter who just disappears for large chunks, and then they pretend she's going to be important to the plot, and then she's not, and then she is, and then she's not.
Right. Well, yeah, that was another thing too, right? Because there's hints was she dating the son?
Oh, I didn't get that.
Oh,
I
think there's an age difference there. I don't think they were.
I don't know.
I didn't pick up on that at all.
Anyway, but yeah, for the most part, I like this. I think the music, once the music gets going, it's done pretty well. This would have been, listen, if they had been doing the kind of spiritual hymns that Thomas's character wanted to do, this movie would be unwatchable.
Mm-hmm.
But the bit in the tunnel where they're singing Yazoo for those of you in England. That's a really nice arrangement, right? And this movie, it shows you a difference. This movie goes nowhere near what the Pitch Perfect movies do, right? They're not doing these insane vocal arrangements of songs. They're just kind of doing them. It is a little, it's very predictable. It's very manipulative.
The one line that chafed with me, and I think it's the sort of thing that is, you either have a larger discussion about this, but if you just toss it off, it rankles. The one point they're all in town, they walk past an activist who's a table set up stop the war in Afghanistan, and Sharon Horgan says, we don't have the luxury of being against the war, we're married to it.
Well, this is not even trying to begin to enter the political
value. But I'm saying but then don't do it at all if you're going to toss it off a line like that. I bet you there are probably some military wives who aren't crazy about the war and who are supportive of their husbands and are supportive of each other while at the same time being hey, I think this is bullshit. Mm-hmm. But the movie doesn't want to touch that, which is fine, but then don't touch it at all.
Right. There's a scene I wanted to point out that I thought was kind of funny, I wasn't sure whether this was conscious or not. Jason Flemyng is cast as the guy who he's
sort of the military
officer of the base who's the liaison that is supposed to make sure that the wives are keeping busy and not losing their minds. And there's a scene where he's one of the early scenes where he's working at his desk, and he can hear the terrible choir singing right before they've gotten any good. And the way it's shot, he's a little backlit, and boy, it makes his ears look giant. And so when he goes to put on the headphones so he can't hear it, I thought, would that have been as funny if with a guy with smaller ears?
I had not noticed that.
Did not catch that detail. But
anyway, I'm saying 5.3.
I said 7. Like, again, this talking about does what it says on the box. This is uplifting and cheerful, and maybe if I weren't like spending the last 2 months in my apartment, I'd be in a different mood for it. But I had a good time, so I got to give it a 7.
Yeah, I give it a 6. It's fine. I sat out here on the back patio, I watched on my computer, and it was a nice time.
6.1 is our number.
So yeah, it is streaming in all the places where streaming is happening. Thanks for watching. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us at BeFastAllDay on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. Check out the exclusive content we're creating for subscribers, including TV recaps, shows like Hulu's Mrs. America and The Great, as well as exclusive reviews and other stuff that only our Patreon folks get. So thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.